very much, Mr. Signey. As usual, we are always pleased time of year to have our orchestra come play for us. It's an honor for us to be here to listen to you tonight.
It's an honor for us. We enjoy this, and we're pleased to be here. We look forward to it. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ms. Vanderkloot.
Mr. Zigney, I waited all day today knowing that the students were going to be here, anticipating, knowing what joy you would bring us. And it was joy over the last 2 weeks. I managed to attend every concert this winter season, and it was just thrilling, whether it's a group of 12 or I don't know, 14 students you have tonight, or 125 or 30, I don't know. There's so many on the stage. It's amazing that you managed to do it. And Ms. Cheng as well, wonderful concert. The choir concert was great. They were absolutely fabulous, and we're really proud of our students, and thank you very much, Mr. Zigney, for bringing them to us tonight and always.
Mr. Benedetto.
Thank you. I also want to thank the parents for coming out to so many events throughout the community, because I've seen them playing up at the high school for open house nights and a lot of different functions, and every time I walk in it makes my night. It just starts it with such joy, and these children have great talent, and I appreciate your dedication as well. Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays to all of you. Approval of the minutes of the December 5th. Motion for approval by Mr. Scarry.
Madam Mayor.
There's a question by Mr. Benedetto.
Thank you so much. So in the minutes, there was a motion made to add, have a note, sorry. So we made a request to add a protocol that Mr. Belson was gonna check into and get back to us on Miss Stone's concern about things that happen outside of school time and teachers hear about it. So could we just add that to the agenda list of things to be done? Mm-hmm. That's all. So it's like a policy. It was a policy. The superintendent was to draft a policy about outside of school issues and a protocol, so that way everybody at every school follows the same protocol. So if we could add that to the drop-down list, so that way we keep track of that.
On the motion to add that to our report list, do. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
And is there a second on the minutes? Second. Offered by Ms. Vanderkloot. Roll call, Mr. Secretary.
Ms. Cuneo? Yes. Mr. Benedetto?
Yes.
Fritz? Ms. Stone? Yes. Ms. Sherry, yes. Ms. Vanderkloot? Yes. Mayor Burke?
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. Motion passes. Approval of bills, transfer of funds.
Madam Mayor.
Mr. Benedetto.
I had a question when reviewing the bills. I don't know if Kristen had a moment. There was just, on page 3 of 9, there was an individual that received 2 checks. One was for $1,000 and one for $800. And I was just wondering what that services was for. It just seemed like a lot that we don't usually see. So the name of the person is Valerie DeGeorge. One check on page 3, probably the 6th one up from the bottom.
Yep.
And then on page 6 of 9, probably 10 up from the bottom. 2, 4, 6, 8, 11.
Yep,
pretty close though.
$800.
So I just didn't know what those services were and if they were ongoing. Sometimes I just like to ask questions so I know what's going on. I don't know, the superintendent might recall as well.
Would you like to review them, or do you have an answer for tonight?
I would like to review them. I don't know the extent of the specific service, so I would need to look at the each specific invoice.
That's okay. I'm putting you on the spot. I know that. I did have one other question on page 3, halfway up the sheet. It was other supplies for $250 for Richard Cheney. I'm sure it was just supplies that he was getting reimbursed for, but when I see that, it's just not a lot of explanation, so I like to know what we're writing our bills for. And there's no rush getting back to me.
On the motion that those 3 items be investigated by Christine, all those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
And is there a second on approval of bills, transfer of funds? Offered by Mr. Benedetto. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion Motion carries. Approval of payrolls.
Motion to,
None? Motion for approval, seconded by Ms. Vanderklut. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion carries. Report of secretary.
There's
None.
none. Madam Mayor, my colleague Ms. Kretz has a report on school crossing guards that we would like to have read into the record.
Ms. Kretz?
Yes. Hi, okay. Yep, so I got another update this morning, late this morning, regarding the crossing light at Fulton Street and the Fellsway. And I have the update. I'm going to read it to you right now. So the Fulton Street crossing time has been changed. It's been changed for about 2 weeks now. So the walk sign will go for up to 24 seconds. Then it will flash walk for 13 seconds, and it will count down, and you have exactly 13 seconds to finish walking across. With a 3-second do not walk, so that the lights will then signal to change, and then the cars will begin going. The traffic engineer department is also looking into adding a second crossing in the intersection on the other side, would likely make the intersection safer and work more smoothly, as it would require less pushing of the pedestrian walk buttons to get from one side of the Fulton to the diagonal side across. However, it's likely that this will need to be re-examined in the spring due to the weather conditions that are coming, with the winter coming. And it's difficult to paint lines and do any repaving in the winter. So it's something that they're going to revisit again in February. But I did test out the crossing light today with Noah 3 times, and you have 36 seconds, and you can get across all lanes, and you don't have to run. You can simply walk across all lanes. The traffic is stopped everywhere. It's great. It's amazing. It was really impressive. So I wanted to share that update with everybody.
Very good, Ms. Kretz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Scarry?
The report be accepted and placed on file, and that the superintendent send a memo to the school principals involved and let them know that they have what the situation is, what the current situation is.
Mr. Johnson, no?
Yep, I can forward you the email. Okay, yeah, no problem. Okay.
Very good. On the motion that report be accepted, all those in favor? All those opposed? Report is accepted. Report of committees? None. Community participation? None. Report of superintendent. A recommendation to accept gift from Edward Clark to honor the memory of former Director of English, Leah R. Caleri Clark. Mr. Superintendent.
Madam Mayor and members of the committee, it's our distinct privilege and honor this evening to have with us Medford resident, Professor Emeritus at Suffolk University, Edward Clark, who is the husband of the late director of our English department, Leah R. Caleri Clark. Did an outstanding job during her time as the leader of that department, and as an inspiration to our faculty and to our teachers and to our students. Professor Clark is here this evening with his attorney, Paul Kelly, and they are going to make a presentation and ask the committee to accept a gift in honor and memory of Leah in the amount of $25,000 to serve as a scholarship. So I'd like to, at this time, to call upon Attorney Kelly and Professor Clark to join us at the rostrum here to make any statements they would like to make. While they're coming up, I'd indicate that under the direction of our Director of Humanities, Dr. Nicole Chiesa, we have set up some criteria. You have it in front of you. I won't read it at this time, but she is also here, and we welcome any questions that you may have.
We welcome you, Mr. Clark, and Mr. Kelly.
Thank you both very much. I'm Paul Kelly. I'm a friend of Professor Clark, and I think he'd like to say a few words about his wife, Leah R. Caleri Clark.
Leah was born and raised in Jamaica Plain, the oldest of 9 children. After high school, she joined the Order of the Sisters of Notre Dame, a teaching order. And over the years, she taught every grade from first grade through high school, specializing in English. In the course of those years, she took a bachelor's degree from Emmanuel College and a master's in English from the School of English at Middlebury College. In 1975, she left the order and became head of the English department in the Medford schools. She retired after 11 years and and died of cancer at age 56. One of her favorite enterprises in the Medford schools was what she called awards night. It was a sort of gala occasion in its way in the auditorium at Medford High School, in which she gave an award for excellence in English to a considerable number of students at Medford High School. It was held in the auditorium at the high school. She would be very happy to know that in a way that tradition is due to be carried on with this award in English studies, that Mr. Belson and Nicole have so graciously agreed to support as it comes forward to the school committee. Thank you for your attention, and I thank you for your interest.
Thank you very much, Professor Clark. Mr. Scarry.
Thank you, Mayor. Professor Clark, I would like to thank you on behalf of the citizens and the students of Medford for this great gift, and I would move that we accept it wholeheartedly. And on a personal note, I had the privilege and honor of working with Leah in my earlier teaching days at Medford High School, and she taught me a lot that I carried through life and carried on to my second livelihood as a investigator for the Commonwealth, and I'm very glad for the lessons that she taught me, and I could pass those on to my students. And again, thank you very much for your generosity. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Sorry. Ms. Vanderkloot.
I too would like to just extend the thanks of myself and the school committee, and also for all of those students in the future who are going to receive a generous scholarship because of your generosity tonight. So thank you very much. We really appreciate that you've come down, and this was just before my time on the school committee, but I know that Leah's reputation was someone I heard of and was very, very well known and very well respected. So thank you so much, and thank you for reminding us tonight during this holiday season of the tremendous people we've had in our past. Thank you.
Ms. Cudno.
Thank you. Of course, I want to say thank you for your generosity to Professor Clark, for hers, but more so is the passion that you and she had brought to our district, a passion that I know still exists, and I know that passion will be definitely at our award ceremony. And so I hope she will be looking down and her spirit will rekindle the generosity that you have brought tonight. So thank you very much.
Ms. Kretz.
Hi, I just want to thank you very much for this very generous donation. Thank you so much. The students will really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
There is a motion on the floor for approval by Mr. Scarry, seconded by Mr. Benedetto. Roll call vote, please.
Ms. Cunyo? Mr. Benedetto? Yes. Ms. Kretz? Ms. Mastone? Mr. Scarry, yes. Ms. Vanderklut? Yes. Mayor Burke?
Yes. 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. We proudly accept this gift, and awards night is a night that we all look forward to attending as well. It's a joyous night in our city and for our school department and school children, so we're very proud to be able to add this on. So thank you, Professor Clark, for my alumni. Mr.
Madam Mayor, I
Belson.
just want to also comment that I had the pleasure of working with Leah for many years, and she was a very, very outstanding educator and a good, kind person who really cared about our young people. But I also want to make note that Attorney Kelly this evening is with us. He is the husband of the superintendent of the Arlington Public Schools and the former chairperson of the Winchester Public Schools. So it's a pleasure to have you here, and give our best to Kathy because she's a terrific educator too. Thank you very much.
Thank you. A recommendation to accept donation to Columbus Elementary School to honor the memory of Margaret Weigel. Mr.
Madam Mayor,
Superintendent.
call upon our Assistant Superintendent to join us and explain this gift.
Good evening. So on behalf of Kathy Kay and the Columbus Elementary School, I would like to inform you that the co-workers of Margaret Weigel, who worked at 6 Red Marbles, wanted to make a donation to the Columbus Elementary School in her memory. She recently lost her battle to cancer. She was very interested in the education of children, and together with her co-workers, decided to use the $2,000 memorial towards a donation to the Columbus School Library. The money will be given to the PTO, who will work with Amanda Fowler, the Columbus School paraprofessional, to purchase new books. They will choose books which will further enrich the collection that they are currently growing. Each will be marked with a label to read in loving memory of Margaret Weigel, whose passion for learning, knowledge, and understanding live on. So I'd like for you to accept this donation to the Columbus Elementary School for $2,000 in Margaret Weigel's name.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had the privilege of knowing Margaret. I call her my friend, as I'm sure several of you as well would call her a friend. She was a friend to many. She took good care of the people in this city, and we miss her dearly. So on behalf, I know there's a motion for approval by Ms. Cunyo. Is there a second on the floor by Ms. Vanderklut? Roll call vote, Mr. Scarry.
Ms. Cunyo? Yes. Mr. Benedetto? Yes, and thank you. Ms. Kretz? Yes. Ms. Mastone? Yes. Mr. Scarry, yes. Ms. Vanderklut? Yes. Mayor Burke?
Yes. 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative. The motion passes. Thank
you.
you very, very much to the family of the Weigels. Report on Columbus School's celebration of Cultures Night. Mr. Superintendent.
Madam Mayor, return performance by our Assistant Superintendent because it's Columbus School Night and we're going to discover a lot of things. And so she'll present this report.
So thank you very much. I'm very proud tonight to have our Columbus School family with us. So at this time, I'd like Kathy Kay, the principal of the Columbus School, to come up with Kara. Kara, I'm trying to remember your last name, Rossi. And I want to thank the Columbus School family who are here tonight to celebrate as well. There are 2 reports that I'd like to tell you about tonight. The first one is at the Columbus Celebration of Cultures Night. As you know, if you go to the Columbus School, there are so many different cultures to celebrate. So on Thursday, November 17th, they hosted their 2nd annual Giving Thanks, a celebration of Cultures Night. All the Columbus School families were invited to share and celebrate the diverse backgrounds that make the Columbus School such a special place. Dinner was provided by local restaurants, and I was there, so I think I sampled every bit from the edible arrangements, Harrow's Chicken Pie, Razzo's Flatbread Company, Istanbulu, Oasis Maze Cafe, Bocelli's Lakasha's, Salvatore's, Boston Shy Party, and Kelly's Roast Beef. There were cultural performances by the children and families, including piano and gymnastics, martial arts, bilingual storytelling, and a rousing performance of the music of Mali by Balka. You're going to have to help me with this, Kathy. and her family. Raffle prizes included an 8-week course from Dance Caliente, puzzles, books, and candy samples from all around the world. It was really an extraordinary night. The kids were all working at separate tables, doing arts and crafts, making flags, playing games with the teachers that were there. Would you like?
Learning new languages.
Please come up.
And it wouldn't have happened without the wonderful PTO at the Columbus Elementary School, who many of whom are here tonight. They worked tirelessly, up until the time, getting the vendors to support their goods for the evening, and getting parents to be involved, canvassing the kids to do their events. One of our students played the piano, and some other kids got up and did their martial arts, and they read bilingual books like Mrs. Caldwell said, and it was just a fantastic night, and everyone really had a good time. So we're looking forward to number 3, and please join us next year.
Excellent. Is there a motion to accept the report and place it on file by Mr. Benedetto, seconded by Ms. Vanderklut? All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Report on Columbus School Little Free Library.
So this was really a very fun experience as well. And I have to say that Kara Rossi was behind us 2 years ago. She came to me and she wanted to have this little free library, and we were working on a solution to try to figure out how to do it. So then along came Eric Handler, who is the husband of Shannon Handler, who is a special education teacher at the Columbus Elementary School, and of course Mrs. Rossi with her 5th grade students, as they work together on a project that will actually air on PBS in the near future. The project is called Little Free Library. Mr. Handler and his design squad kids, are they here tonight? Okay. Just
one.
Your kids. Worked with the Columbus School to install their handiwork. The full video production will be completed in about 2 months. The students had a great time and worked really well together. And Mr. Handler was very impressed by the hard work of the children. So if anybody wants to know what is this little school library, you can go to the website, or I can tell you that it is take a book, return a book, free book exchange. So they come in many shapes and sizes, but the most common version is a small wooden box books. Anyone can take a book. So in the community, people can stop by and look. And if you turn to the page where I gave you a picture of Miss Rossi and her group of children, you can see there is a picture of the little school library. So at this time, I'd like to call upon Miss Kara Rossi to tell you a little bit about it as well.
Miss Rossi.
And the children.
School committee, thank you so much for putting us on the agenda tonight. We really appreciate it. Mayor and Mr. Belson as well. So as Ms. Caldwell said, this has been kind of a 2-year project for me, and Eric Handler kind of came along and basically read my mind. He provided the little free library. It looks like a large birdhouse, right? A freestanding birdhouse. He supplied it with books to start. I am the library steward for that, so it is registered nationally, so I will be in charge of maintaining it and kind of checking on it. It will have both children's books as well as adult books. There are 2 levels in the actual structure. But I do have a student here who was there the day, and he was in the filming of it. 2, actually. Yeah, I have 2 of them. It was a great experience for them. We have not seen the final production of it, and I believe it's going to be about 7 minutes long. And I can't wait, because it was kind of filmed backwards, as editors and producers do. So it will be nice when we see it all put together. But I'd like them to come to the microphone and maybe give their experience on the day, which was about 4 hours long. It was windy and cold, yes. So Lindsay and Raphael, please come on up.
So I think the best part about that day was probably spending it with everybody and filming it. I just loved hanging out with everybody and yeah.
Maybe the best part of it was like I never was in a I never got film before, so it's kind of new to me, but like fun new, not like scary.
Nice.
So it was kind of interesting to be in a film.
Oh,
One of the funniest things about the end of that day was we picked 4 fifth-grade students, and they said, okay, is this going to be done tomorrow? We can watch it tomorrow. And Mr. Handler laughed. He's like, how about 2 months from now? So it wasn't instant. So thank you. It's a great option for the community to have right out in front of the Columbus. So I hope it gets great use, and in the springtime, I think it will be a very busy spot. If not, it already is. So thank you.
well, thank you, Ms. Rossi.
You're welcome.
Lindsay and
So in this-
Raphael, great job, by the way. Great
Yeah,
job
they were
tonight.
terrific. So in this season of giving, this started the whole giving back process, which is something that we love to do in our buildings. And it's not just at the Columbus schools, all of them are doing this, but this held a special place for me. So thank you so much, Columbus School.
Great job.
Sure, if you could do that really quickly. We're just going to talk about another donation for the Home for Little Wonders.
Sure.
So earlier this year, I've been with Medford teaching for the past 4 years. We've always done some sort of community service. We've done Treats for Troops the past 4 years. This year we took on a new project and donated no-sew blankets, no-sew fleece blankets to the Home for Little Wanderers. My 5th grade students got together 6 mornings from 8 to 8:30, and they were like busy bees. They made 25 blankets that we donated to the children there. The home was so impressed that one of the gentlemen came in to thank them personally and played a extra recess kickball game with them as well. So, of the 70 fifth graders at the Columbus, about half of them showed up in the morning to help make these blankets. So they're, children just want to give, and they were very much involved. Very quickly, I'm just going to have each one of them say what they liked best about it.
It's beautiful.
That's just an example. This is not a show.
What I like best about doing the project was actually making the blankets because it was really fun. Me and my friends got to do it together, and I really enjoyed it a lot.
Wonderful.
So as Fedor said, actually my favorite part of the no-sew blankets was actually making them too. And I also like knowing that they were going to a community that helps children like us. Short. I like the part where you could I liked making the blankets, but I liked that I could be with my friends and everything like that. Just, it was fun. I liked making the blankets and donating them to the kids, and I was with my friends, so I wasn't as nervous, and I also liked that we were with our friends doing it.
My favorite part was being with my friends in the morning and
making the blankets because they were soft and fluffy. Probably the best part of making the blankets is that it helps others that need it. So it's basically helping others.
And that's what it's all about.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very
All
much,
right.
Ms. Rossi. Thank you, Ms. Kay. Aw. Is there a motion to receive and place Columbus School Little Free Library report on file, please? On the motion, Mr. Scarry, seconded by Ms. Vanderklut. All those in favor? All those opposed? Motion passes. Ms. Vanderklut, did you wish to speak on that?
No, I just want to thank the parents for coming down and bringing the kids tonight. My favorite part was hearing the kids tell us about their projects. Obviously, there's a whole lot going on at the Columbus School, and it's really great. I'm very familiar with the Little Free Libraries. I first ran across them in a Chicago neighborhood when I was visiting, and so I'm so proud that we have one now right outside the Columbus School. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Ms. Cunyo.
I just want to say thank you. Thank you to the teachers involved, the parents, the students. I know we sit here, throughout the year and we're talking about budgets and how to get more money, but tonight really does prove, not that we're not trying to get any more money, but it does prove the fact that we can be so successful in really thinking outside of the box and making something passionate, making it your own, and being extremely successful at it. And what the children have done and the reputation that they've already built for themselves is just, there's not enough money to thank you for that. So I just want to say thank you.
Report on Global Scholars Program at Museum of Science. Mr. Superintendent.
Madam Mayor, members of the committee, this was an outstanding activity, and I'm going to call upon our curriculum director, Dr. Bernadette Riccadelli, to brief you on the exciting day that our young people had at the Science Museum, along with Dr. Chiesa.
Yes. So, good evening.
Good evening.
Madam Mayor, Superintendent Belson, and members of the Medford School Committee. So Dr. Nicole Chiesa is here with me tonight. I wrote the report, but Dr. Chiesa works, as I do, with the teachers on bringing this wonderful program to Medford. So this is a great night. We've talked a lot about the community partnerships, the local partnerships, past relationships we're building on with Ms. Kaleri Clark. And tonight we're here to talk about a partnership that we have with a national, actually international organization, Global Scholars, which many of you are familiar with because we've presented about this on this program in the past. So specifically, I'm here to talk about a field trip that Global Scholars provided to all of our grade 7 students last Wednesday to the Museum of Science. It was a wonderful experience for our students, and you can see in the report that it was directly tied to the curriculum that the students are studying in the program. So the visit focused on preparing students for Unit 3 of that Digital Cities Connect curriculum, entitled How We Make Things. So the theme was innovation. Students viewed exhibits Da Vinci the Genius to learn about historic inventions, innovated engineers and design challenges to discover the engineering design process and how it is used to create innovative products, and the Charles River exhibit in the Yawkey Gallery to see how engineering solutions are being used locally to manage and protect the river. The guiding theme of this visit was on how products are created to solve real-world problems. So there's the connection to that grade 7 program. When we first started this program 2 years ago, we're in our 3rd year of the program, we were the only school in Massachusetts to be participating in it. We helped Global Scholars reach out, and they are now involved with some schools in Boston, the Everett Public Schools, and I believe it's one school in Chelsea. So on this field trip, there were 1,000 students. It was an immense undertaking by the organizers of this program. And I thought it was well organized. Attached to the report, you can see the schedule. So they saw 4 different exhibits. Global Scholars provided lunch, and then the day ended with a picture. They actually split the group into 2, so there were 500 in one picture and 500 in another. And organizing a photograph of 500 students is not an easy task, but they made it look relatively simple. Prior to this field trip, the teachers did a lot of preparation. They were provided guidance on what to prepare the students to see, and then there also was a follow-up sheet, a study guide that the teachers have been working with the students on. We did extend an invitation out to various members of the community. Of course, being in the middle of the week, it's not easy to get away from work. We do appreciate those people that were able to spend time with us. Special thank you to School Committee Woman Kathy Kretz. And in particular, 4 of our grade 7 teachers really have taken a lead role in bringing this to our students. So those students are Ryan McCarthy, Kathleen O'Donohue, Brian Villard, and Frank Zizzo. So they've done a wonderful job. They've worked more closely with Dr. Chiesa than myself. I've had more of the connection with Global Scholars in New York City. So between Nicole and myself, we think the program's going great. We're very happy to be able to offer it to Medford students, and we're thankful of the generosity of Marjorie Bloomberg Tiven and her wonderful, incredibly wonderful staff. I don't know if you wanted to offer anything else.
Thank you very much.
Questions.
Ms.
A very
Kretz.
big thank you. I wanted to say, thank you very much to the Bloomberg Philanthropies, and I might be saying that wrong, but it was a great day, and it was so enjoyable for the students, the administrators, the teachers, everybody there. We were all involved in the exhibits, having fun, and it was so organized. It was hard to believe there was over 1,000 students there. It was so organized. It was a great day. Thank you. It was a pleasure going.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion on the floor for acceptance of the report by Ms. Kretz?
Yes.
Seconded by Mr. Scarry. All those in favor? All those opposed? The report is accepted. Thank you very much. Negotiations and legal matters? None? None? Okay. New business. We have a few. New business. School committee resolution. Be it resolved that the Medford School Committee express its sincere condolences to the family of Marvin Brown. Mr. Brown was the husband of former science teacher Althea Brown. Be it resolved that the Medford School Committee express its sincere condolences to the family of Cleveland Red Honeycutt. Mr. Honeycutt was the father of Bill Honeycutt, a generous supporter of the Medford Public Schools. And further, be it resolved that the Medford School Committee express its sincere condolences to the family of Mary Alice Leach. Ms. Leach was the sister of retired Medford police officer William Fargo. Also, be it resolved that the Medford School Committee express its sincere condolences to the family of Jean Barry Sutherland. Jean was a longtime Medford resident. She was a teacher and administrator for the Medford Public Schools for over 40 years. And lastly, that the Medford School Committee express its sincere condolences to the family of Joseph C. Bettinelli. He was a Lincoln School science teacher who passed away last week. Could we all please rise for a moment of silence on the passing of these fine Medford individuals? Ms. Vanderkloot.
I would just like to take a moment to comment on remembering Jean Barry. Jean was such an exceptional individual, a teacher who just loved what she did, an administrator and a community member, and lastly, a fighter who waged such an incredible fight, and with such a wonderful, always upbeat, always lovely personality. So I just take a minute to remember Jean Barry, and because over the years on the school committee, she was certainly one of the first teachers that I got to know well, and one who I certainly felt had a very large impact on our students. And I remember her both professionally and personally. She was a great lady.
Through all of her struggles, she's always had a smile on her face every time I saw her. What a wonderful woman. She will be missed by Medford and beyond, and we were blessed to know her. Mr. Scarry.
Yes, I'd also like to express my condolences to the Barry family. I grew up in the neighborhood that Jean grew up in, and we both attended Boston State. And she was a teacher that always gave 100%, and she was a principal that was loved by all her students all the time, and would go out of her way to make sure that whatever the students needed, they always had. And she'll be sorely missed.
Thank you, Mr. Scarry. Mr. Superintendent.
Madam Mayor, it's interesting and perhaps ironic that tonight Jean became the first principal of the new Columbus School, and tonight we celebrated achievements at the Columbus School. So I think there's something comes together mystically in our world as Jean opened that school, and she was the queen of her castle, as she would announce in the morning, every morning over the loudspeaker.
Madam Mayor?
It was exciting. Go ahead.
I'd ask my colleagues if we could dedicate this meeting in the memory of Jean Barry Sutherland.
On the motion to dedicate this meeting in her memory, all those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. And finally, we have one last item on the agenda, a recommendation to accept CASET grant of $50,000 for Italian language program. Mr. Superintendent.
So, Madam Mayor and members of the committee, the CASET program, the Centro Attivo Scolastico program, which presents Italian, which presents funds for us to keep our elementary language program going and to also support the development of the Italian culture within our schools, so central to the fact that there's such a strong Italian heritage in our community as well. That, you know, I had the opportunity to attend a meeting yesterday, and several of our elementary teachers were recognized, and Anne Marie was there, and the ever-energetic Gioconda Mata, who heads the organization, presented us with a check for $50,000 to help support that program. So I recommend that we accept it and make it work for us as we go forward.
Very good. Ms. Cunyo.
I just wanted to say that I do have the pleasure of going to this board meeting once a year, and I am thrilled that every time I come back, we have been given a generous donation for our system. So, and what's really nice this year is also the relationship that we have formed with the General Counsel, the Italian General Counsel, who is very much into education and very much into looking into the future of hopefully, we've already partnered with him in different ways, but the goal is really to express and exchange the culture of the students that we have here, to hopefully have like exchange programs going on with the students in Italy. So it's really nice when you're working with other partnerships that are really pushing the envelope and really working with the educational part. So I just want to say thank you to the Consul General and of course CASET run by Gioconda Malta. Thank you.
Very good. On the motion for approval by Ms. Cunyo, seconded by Ms. Kretz, roll call vote, Mr. Scarry.
Yes.
Yes, 7 in the affirmative, 0 in the negative, the motion passes. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion
by Ms.
to adjourn.
Vanderkloot. We wish everyone a wonderful holiday season. Stay safe out there. We have some bad weather coming, some ice cold weather coming, so stay warm, stay bundled.
Hopefully it'll be during vacation.
Motion to adjourn.